Do you see any patients that have neurological issues using KAATSU to their benefit?
We actually have a lot of wounded warriors, people who have been injured either in war or training. Also, people who have been injured, car accidents or mountain climbing accidents, etc. And here, the same way that the vascular tissue dilates, expands, becomes more resilient in your bicep, your forearm, your core, your quads, your calves, the same thing occurs, or a similar thing occurs in the capillaries of your brain. So we've done multiple testing from China, Japan, the UK, here in the United States. Very simple. We can put a EEG skull cap on, measure brain waves, and with the KAATSU bands on, we simply ask the patient, for example, to open and close their hands. Nothing vigorous. They're not sweating. It isn't too taxing physiologically. But when we do that, we see an increase in alpha waves. We see an increase in the capillary action in the brain, and it's helped people like a wounded warrior with traumatic brain injuries who, because of their traumatic brain injuries, let's say, have not been able to drive. Now this process isn't do it once or twice. We're talking months or years with people who've taken a bullet to the head or had blast injury, etc. And we can get them to the point where they can read things, they can drive a vehicle, and all those practical things that increases their quality of life. So through the bands, we're impacting cognitively what the individual can do, see, realize, speak, etc. And they can do it in the comfort of their home. They can, of course, do it in the gym. They can, of course, do it in a physical therapy clinic. But what we see is the more you do it, the quicker your improvement will be. And that's why we've grown. We've grown from, Dr. Sato in Japan, doing this to the Japanese, doing this for the Japanese, and we're, in 49 countries, and it's literally word of mouth. And people like yourself who, discuss with myself and our staff, and we just spread the word.
Yeah, it's really interesting how it's impacted in so many other ways than just, let's say, muscle. Neurologically, cardiovascular, everything is interconnected. But I even had recently Dr. Mark Tomerdahl on, who runs something called Brain Gauge. That's basically testing reaction time for brain function. And, looking at something like this even to help improve, because he was finding all the different ways that improve that reaction time, especially with a lot of athletes.